Yes, of course. Yes, we're all here.
Of course you are.
Yes, of course you are. Of course you are.
Of course you are.
Yes, of course you are. Welcome on in, folks, to Thursday night's entertainment news. We're here again for the third time in a row this week.
Tonight's entertainment.
Well, not in a row. We missed out Tuesday, didn't we?
We did, yes. I was
Tuesday.
watching a testimonial match against Athletic Bilbao.
Because normally you do solo shows, John, on the Tuesday, and I just thought, well, I'll tune in, and then nothing happened. I was like the Beatles in the Philippines, watching ourselves not turn up. That was
I
me.
got your message at about 11:30.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to go on now.
I was kind of drifting at that point, so I was like, okay, fair enough. I'll answer you in the morning, John. I'm too tired. Anyway, but we're here, folks. I'm Stephen John McLaughlin. John C. Walsh. We're here as per
Jonathan
usual.
Cecil.
And you better watch. I'll start calling that, man. We're here to talk about entertainment
Tricia
news.
called me it a lot.
Cecil?
Back in the day. Cecil, yeah.
And
I called her Diamond Head.
I watched
Pyramid
your...
Head.
Yeah, mind that drawing. Yeah.
Yeah, Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Not the Silent
rhombus,
Hill Pyramid Head, but yeah. I had a head like a diamond. She had a head like a fucking pyramid. And now I have a head like an 8-ball.
Yeah, John, I watched your show last night, and I know that CINE didn't agree with some of the things you were talking about with recasting and stuff like that for the MCU. But I side with you on that. I think at some point they're going to have to reboot this whole thing, because I get there's all these characters are still to establish, etc., etc. But I think possibly that we're coming to the sort of point where actors have only got a shelf life, and these characters don't. They live on forever, so what do you do?
And of course, the very nature of licensing deals being spread about all various different studios because of obviously Marvel's financial troubles in the 90s, I think it was.
Yeah.
They weren't able to do collaborations with the X-Men and the Avengers.
Yeah.
Now they have those in-house. Yeah. They can now do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So do it. Yeah. John, I think as well that you don't want the power to be in the actors' hands either with... Well, they need me more than I need them, because they need my likeness, and we will be talking about that in this first topic, John, about likeness and AI's involvement. And I saw this article earlier on today, and I naturally assumed from the headline they were talking about actual main characters, main actors. We're going to see Robert Downey Jr. as an AI actor.
Technically, we've already seen him in a kind of augmented way.
They've always done it. They've always done it to superimpose faces.
Zombie Robert Downey, zombie Tony Stark.
Yeah, that was terrible. The worst one I saw was probably Mark Ruffalo's head superimposed into that Hulk suit thing in not Endgame, the Infinity War, when Thor arrives.
Yeah, he was in the sort of Hulk's.
Yeah, it was a terrible sort of CG sort of copy and pasted head. It clearly wasn't in a suit really, but it just looked awful. But John, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about extras.
It's very, very dystopian.
Yeah, supporting actors, as they call them. I remember we had that interview with Bartek a few years ago, and he was referring to extras as supporting actors as well. I mean, they're
necessary, Steve, and I spoke about this last night with the strike.
Yep.
And also you had Tatiana Maslany, who played She-Hulk, coming out and lambasting Bob Iger for his comments. And basically standing up for not just her, but the little man and women. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, whatever, gender fluid. I don't want to shoehorn it into two categories now. I know that's a fucking slippery slope. But standing up for these actors and these cast and crew, sort of writers. Yeah. People who are absolutely necessary to make this content work. And what we're going to get into here is a slippery slope that concerns me greatly.
Well, John, it is, and it's coming from a background actor that was on WandaVision, Alexandria Rubacaba. What a name. Crank name. Is, speaking to NPR, revealed that Disney Plus Marvel series scanned dozens of extras without telling what their digitalised versions would be used for. Rubacaba explained her concern, saying, "What if I don't want to be on Mario Vision or Sarah Vision? I fear that AI is eventually going to weed out background actors. They won't have any use for us anymore. Marvel could use her digital scan on any future projects, and the actress would not necessarily be informed of it nor paid anything more than $187 a day. That's SAG-AFTRA minimum for a background actor. She got over her 4 weeks working on WandaVision. Now, one thing I will say about that is there is a law. Now, they would have to sign this. This is the thing that I don't know. It's muddy in the waters here, John, because it's not really getting into too much legal details here, but there is a law that protects actors, and this was the Crispin Glover thing.
Yeah.
After Back to the Future 2, that protects actors for their likeness not being used without their permission. Now, according to obviously this report, this background actor revealed that they scanned dozens of extras without telling them. That's the issue here.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. It's okay if someone doesn't mind signing their likeness away. I'm saying it doesn't. I don't mind that. I actually don't want AI extras in the background. Full stop.
It's fucking terrible.
But if people are given the studios the rights to that, I haven't. Then it's not for me to say that they can't do this. It's entirely up to them if they want to do that. If they want to sell their soul, it's up to them. But if they're doing it without their permission, now that's where things get a little bit tricky.
It is, Stephen, and we're heading in a direction where it is almost like Back to the Future. You've got long dead actors popping up in little mechanic serving waiters with the voice and delivering a kind of near human sort of performance.
Yeah, comes with beans and pork. Yeah,
it's god awful. And also we had this alleged attempt at bringing James Dean back from the dead.
We talked about that, yeah.
A movie, the estate signed over on it. They agreed.
He was going to be the main actor.
He was going to be the main actor in a movie. He's been dead about fucking 70 years, if not more. He died in the 50s. So it's 70 odd years. That was the start of this, and this was before AI was really a thing. That was probably just mocapping, like what they did with that guy. Was it Guy? I always say Guy Pearce. I don't think it is Guy Pearce.
Yeah, Guy. That's terrible. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I always
did Cushion, yeah.
Yeah, he did Cushion in, obviously, Rogue One.
Yeah.
It was going to be something similar to that. I think now we're getting to a singularity moment, and we're nowhere near the singularity of AI taking over, but we're closer now than we were 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's moving exponential. The progress of the technology, the progress of these algorithms, the progress it's making in terms of writing things, the art, music, it's fucking terrifying. It's moving at an unbelievable rate.
Yeah.
We're now slipping into a dodgy little fucking area here where you could have performances coming in from actors and they've not signed off on it.
Yeah.
And it's going to open up a can of worms in terms of legality, but if the actors are dead and the actual estates are green lighting it for a quick...
we saw that with Peter Cushing, didn't we? His estate okayed that.
Yeah, for a quick handout though, for cash, you're getting to the point where it's potentially damaging legacies of once great actors or actresses because they've had their likeness shoehorned into some soulless husk.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be associated with them thereafter. Generations after will look at it and think, oh, they were there in that movie. Even though it fucking probably dead 30 years before it or whatever. We're already seeing that, Stephen, short attention spans. Human beings in this day and age very rarely look beyond a headline. They will just look at that actor's performance and think that was a performance from them. I don't like that. I don't like silly actors.
And John,
and this is big actors.
It's going to get more... It's going to get more realistic as well.
It is.
Which is frightening because, I mean, I think the very essence of anyone becoming an actor is because their love for their passion for the arts and performance, and that's been lost. It's been lost for decades now because we're seeing people going into the business not to become actors, to become superstars, you know, and they've not really got any other goal than being famous. That's what they're... You see it all the time, John, with these sort of sketches, and you see people waiting in LA and stuff like that who claim to be... They want to be an actor, but they don't. They want to be famous. That's what they want to be. And it seems to be more and more a want with humans now, you know.
I think there's always been this desire for recognition and want to be famous.
Yeah, but the platform's there now, John, and I think, you know, you're going to get dozens of people lining up to get their faces scanned so they can claim they were in a film, you know, and that's just where it's going. And
for me, it damages the art. It damages the sort of whole reason of creating film and TV to a lesser extent. It's about conveying human stories. No matter what the setting is, the genre, science fiction, anything.
Is it to save
it's
money?
Also, Stephen, when you're looking at the striking that's happening just now, they're warring these studios and the executives with the little guys.
Yeah.
And we've seen this slippery slope start almost after Black Widow, where they try to take legal action, or Scarlett Johansson had to take legal action against Disney because they were refusing to pay her, I think, rights for it going onto the streaming service.
Yeah, that was
in a shortened, truncated sort of digital release.
Yeah.
We've seen the way they were willing to treat someone who'd gave their all for the company and that character that had helped propel that into a multi-billion-dollar sort of state.
Generational, though, John. I think further down the line, maybe 20, 30 years from now, this could be a common thing that they get actors to sign. The thing is, John, it's pardon the phrase, but it's getting people over a barrel, basically. You know, if you want to be in this film, you better sign that on that dotted line.
We've seen this, Stephen, to an extent, 40 years ago with George Lucas. He basically took the likeness. He got Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, all of the actors on Star Wars to sign over the likeness. And he, even to this day, Disney and Lucasfilm, by extension, hold the rights to the likeness, and they can do whatever the fuck they want with it.
Lucasfilm were scanning the faces during the trilogy, weren't they? During the sequel trilogy as well.
And we've seen that utilised for Battlefield or Battlefront.
Yeah.
The actual likeness, you get these high resolution images of Luke and the sort of Empire Strikes Back here.
Obviously the Luke Skywalker character that we've seen obviously pop up in the Mandalorian, and we've seen him pop up in the Book of Boba Fett as well, and I'm not sure if we'll see him again anytime soon. And obviously,
I hope it's Sebastian
Ahsoka,
Stan that's doing
it. Yeah, I mean, but this is the thing I was going to talk about.
Pay money though.
Well, it's not like they've not. It's not like they've not got money. They're making barrelloads of money per day. But this is what a lot of people.
If they continue churning out the content they're putting out just now, though, Stephen, which is so far removed from what we were accustomed to even 5 years ago from Disney.
Yeah.
It's not going to be long before they're in a sticky pickle. Or was that even the right phrase? I don't know. A sticky wicket.
Sticky wicket.
Sticky wicket. They'll find themselves in a pickle.
Yeah.
No studio is completely immune to shedding unbelievable amounts of money and putting themselves in a dodgy position. Disney were in a really dodgy position in the 80s and the 90s when they went through original content and they were in a dodgy spot. I think they actually had to. Am I right in saying they had an animated studio and they did something, they sold it off? There was something going on with them, that and Lego. Maybe I'm combining the two in my head.
Yeah, it could be
but
Lego,
I think they weren't in the sort of cash-rich situation they are now. So it's almost like cyclical. These companies are not always going to be in this esteemed position if they don't manage their business in a profitable manner. And signing off on fucking scanning minor actors, major actors, and delivering soulless husks of performances is one surefire way to piss away millions and millions and billions of dollars and pounds, whatever currency you want to use. Because most people, I don't think, will be on board with this, Stephen. I tell you, guys who won't be on board with it: Christopher Nolan, Daniel Day-Lewis, and guys like that, actors like that would never have fucking did this. Would never have gave their likeness over in a million years. I suspect you're right though, Stephen, that sort of shit kicker wannabe actors would want to get their likeness out there just to maybe kickstart a career.
Yeah. So and get on IMDb. Yeah.
Different echelons, isn't it?
They don't have to leave the house. It's a strange one, John, but I think, I think decades down the line this is where it's heading. Sadly, it's a depressing thought, but you're going to get actors that are going to have to sign their likeness. It's going to be part of the deal of getting them in the door, actors seek work, or they're constantly seeking work, and there's only a handful of actors that have a commanding position, the Leonardo DiCaprios, etc. John, there's not many like that can command a role. So the rest of them are all fighting for different roles. You're seeing it all the time. You're seeing it with obviously respectable actors. I'm not talking about like Z-list actors. You're talking about people like your Ben Stillers and stuff like that, and that are going for roles that are now well established, in cinema history. And when you look back, Marty McFly, that's how I said Ben Stiller, he went for that role. Obviously, there was a handful of actors at that time, but that's what I'm talking about.
Played it.
It gets to the stage where they're that desperate they'll take whatever's coming, whatever's offered. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that for a certain amount of money. I'll sign my likeness away if I can get the chance to be in this film, that kind of thing.
You're never ever going to get a compelling performance like what you've got from Leonardo DiCaprio over the last 20 years. Jack Nicholson's, your Robert De Niro's, your Al Pacino's, your Daniel Day-Lewis's, your Robin Williams, Jim Carrey's. You're never going to get an unbelievable performance full of emotion, full of the whole human lexicon of thought, if you like. I don't know. Emotion's the word I was going to use, but I just used it a minute ago, so it'd be weird saying it again. That's almost AI like. you're never going to get that compelling performance from an artificial intelligence. And we could get to a stage where it almost becomes, what do they call it again? There's another term for it. General intelligence, I don't know. There's another one. There's another level. You've got artificial intelligence, but then you've got like proper, like self-awareness, fully functioning intelligence.
Yeah.
There's a name for it, I can't think of it just now. Maybe when you get to that point, it'll be able to deliver incredibly nuanced, believable performances. But I just feel like to get that, and it's the same with art, Steve. We've seen compelling artwork done by AI, but it's always missing something. It's missing the soul, the art. Anybody can fucking draw. Anyone can put fucking, I don't know, a pastel or a brush to a canvas and produce something. But the truly great artists, the ones that move people, and their works are still around centuries, thousands of years later.
Yeah.
They have gave something of themselves to that artwork.
Yeah.
AI cannot give something of itself to art on any level. Music, film, TV,
John, because it's
proper
performance. It's it's that connection between between the performance and the audience, and that emotional connection.
Yeah.
When you're watching something, where
you can relate
it be, you're watching that performance and go, you're feeling for that character because of the performance from the actor, because that actor's putting that performance on for you, and you think about an AI version of an actor doing that, and to be fair,
give you what you think you want.
Yeah, but to be fair, John, when we were watching, and Rogue One is one of our favourite Star Wars films, if we're being honest, but you're sitting there watching, obviously the Tarkin stuff, and you're thinking, God, that looks really bad. Even back then, it looked not that great. Let's be honest.
But at least they had an actual Guy Henry. Guy Henry delivering the performance, so there was a human behind the sort of mocap.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't conjured up from nothing. Of course, I get that.
I've got no issues with mocap. We've seen the great Andy Serkis delivering some of the greatest performances the last 20 odd years with mocap. Caesar, Golem, unbelievable performances. When you utilise, exactly. If you can utilise the sort of technology and combine it, and it's a hybrid sort of performance, I'm all on board for that. But just out and out artificial performances from sort of computer generated fucking hollow husks. No, I'm not for that, man. I'm sorry.
It becomes those sort of early PlayStation games, the sort of dramatical sequences, where you got the sort of ham acting and the bad. I know they're getting more sort of complex, and they're getting I get that, but it's still soulless. It's still, there's something dead behind the eyes, and it is.
That with the look.
Yeah,
thing. He was completely dead. Steve, I'll finish by probably saying again.
It's completely dead.
He was dead behind the eyes. He was dead behind the eyes. There was no emotion. That's more, in my mind, Alan Rickman, but it probably doesn't sound anything like Alan.
I mean, I was compelled to see how they did with that, John. I was very intrigued to see how they did, because I knew they were sort of ramping it up a little bit from obviously what we saw at the end of the Mandalorian season 2 with the character, and we saw him in the Book of Boba Fett. He looked stunning, don't get me wrong, he did look really good, but there was something off about the voice.
Steve, also Carrie Fisher as well, Princess Leia at the end of Rogue One, it freaked me the fuck out when I seen the image.
Yeah,
it was uncanny valley. It was weird.
They did it in was it Rise of Skywalker as well with Luke and Leia, where Leia bested Luke, of course. Just looked weird. It looked like a computer game.
You've got to use mocap.
Yeah.
If you want to use that technology, it's just not there. Yeah, and I'm hoping it never gets there, to be honest.
Yeah.
But again, man, you mentioned that Stephen, the actor's delivering a performance to the audience, and they're eating it up. I think of McConaughey, just a short little 5-minute moment, and this is for all the fuckwits out there that say that Christopher Nolan never delivers emotion in his movies. I'm looking at you, Grace Randolph. You fucking disgrace of a movie critic. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Watch Interstellar. Watch when that man realises he's been on a planet that's so close to a black hole that time's moved, I think, 28 years for like 3 years. Yeah. And he realises his kids are now adults. And the performance he delivers, the emotion.
Yep.
Tell me there's no emotion in a Nolan movie. Fucking clowns.
Nah.
Clowns.
I have
to have emotion in every movie anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes a clinical, disconnected.
I get what she's trying to say, John, in terms of there is sort of a formula that Chris Nolan uses, but it's not all the time.
No.
He uses a formula that's sort of a frenetic way of rattling through scenes, in a good way, for a way you can understand it. But there is moments, like you say, the Matthew McConaughey scene.
Neil in Tenet, when you realise he sacrificed himself at the end. You've been with this character all the way through.
He'll always have those moments. Alfred, obviously breaking down with Dark Knight Rises.
There's another one that came to my head there. So many. So many. One came to my head there.
Tell you something, John, I do like to look at that new Michael Caine film. The one with Glenda Jackson. The Great Escaper. Literally, the trailer looks fantastic.
DiCaprio in Inception.
Yeah, DiCaprio, heartbreaking, John, I've always said, he's the last of that sort of age of actor. He's, I don't think there's...
I tell you what, Stephen,
I don't know.
Talking about that sequence, no one scares the fuck out of me like Marion Cotillard.
Yeah.
She's terrifying.
Yep. What a performance, man. Great film,
I was
John.
cringing when he was going down in that elevator. Cringing.
Yep.
My skin was crawling.
Because you didn't know what was going to happen.
It's when she went down and she turned and ran for him. Oh my fucking God, get me out of there. Haunting. It's my worst nightmare. My worst fucking nightmare.
Well, it's not even a jump scare. It's technically brilliant.
But again, the depth in that. You're not going to get that.
There's a tension to that scene as well, John. And this is getting back to what we're talking about. It's the human connection. It's lost if you just have these.
I tell you
visions,
what, though, you're not going to have a stormtrooper bumping his head on the fucking roof and living out the rest of his life going to conventions saying it was me, I did it. If there's fucking AI characters, because they will be pristine. There'll be no head bumping.
John, we're going to move on anyway to our next topic, and it is about Star Wars, and it is about Anakin Skywalker, and it is about Ahsoka, the new show coming out.
How much writing I managed to fit in that topic, man. If you think that's good, wait to see the last one.
But this is coming in from Screen Rant, John. It's Anakin Skywalker's Star Wars return is key to the Mandalorian movie, not just Ahsoka. Now, Anakin Skywalker's return in the Ahsoka show on Disney Plus seems inevitable. Really? Okay. We'll have to see, won't we? We'll just have to wait and see, won't we?
His appearance.
But, his appearance on, obviously, the Obi-Wan series was fantastic, John.
It was.
Loved the flashbacks. I'm so glad they didn't do the de-aging thing. They didn't... I don't think they had to do it for that. It wasn't important. It was just to see the characters' emotions. We're going back to emotions again. If they had masked those guys' faces up with de-aging, you would have lost all that.
Exactly.
Because these two guys have got a connection.
And he doesn't
I'm talking about Hayden and obviously Ewan. He doesn't, John.
You're on about his age. The man was 20 fucking 2 when he did.
And he's 40.
His Anakin in the prequel movies.
Yeah, he's 40 now, isn't
40 years of age now. What do you expect to happen? Come back to me when you're 40 fuckers.
I thought he
looked
good.
Like.
And I thought Ewan looked good as well, but he always does. But with a strong possibility of Anakin Skywalker return to Star Wars via the upcoming Ahsoka show, he's now the key to the Mandalorian movie. As Ahsoka Tano's master during the Clone Wars, Anakin's return is important for her TV series and can build off their history from the Star Wars animation. The last time they saw each other was on Malachor when Anakin was still Darth Vader, so it would be fascinating to see Ahsoka talk to his Force ghost after Return of the Jedi. The show could also include a flashback to their time during the Clone Wars and reveal new information that affects the main storyline. They do that anyway, John. Mandalorian did it, Boba Fett did it, and Andor did it as well, I'm pretty sure. Yep, they did flashbacks. They all do flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't think this show is going to be any different.
No,
do they need to do flashbacks? Not at all.
Don't know,
because you've got the animated stuff that you can back yourself up with.
But they do hint at it in this article at the top that it'd be a nice way for fresh viewers coming in who are not aware of the history between Anakin and Ahsoka. It's a nice little sort of conduit into the story, the relationship, and then they can go back and look into it in greater detail. Of course, he was her master. She was his Padawan. And they had this sort of great sort of camaraderie. And they were sniping at each other. I think she used to call them, what did she used to call them again? Snips. I think she called them snips. And then obviously he turned to the dark side, and it was explored in Rebels. I'm sure there was a terminology for it. I've not visited it in a long fucking time. But she became almost, I think she had a white saber, and there was a terminology for it. Where she's neither the light nor the dark. She straddles a middle line.
Yeah.
And she's almost became one with the Force, but she's not. Her physical existence hasn't disappeared like Yoda and Qui-Gon before her.
Yeah, John, I'm just reading that last paragraph there. As engaging as these possibilities are, however, Anakin's return is just as significant for the Mandalorian movie. The Book of Boba Fett proved that the Mandalorian spin-off shows will inevitably intersect, so Anakin's return to Ahsoka would affect any following stories. His return to Ahsoka also means that he could return in the Mandalorian movie, which would have a major impact on the Star Wars cinematic timeline. It certainly will, and this puts a great deal of pressure on Ahsoka to succeed, but also opens more possibilities. John, I've got no doubt that this show is going to succeed.
Yeah,
this is the one Dave Filoni has been waiting for decades to do.
He told me like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, there was a lot of talk of him potentially getting his chance to get involved with the character in live action, and a lot of people probably says at that time it's never going to happen.
Yeah,
but he's a great man, Dave. He's very passionate and knowledgeable about Star Wars. For me, he should have been the person who took over Lucasfilm after George Lucas, but for whatever reason George decided to pick out Kathleen, and he made his fucking bed. Now we're all having to lie in it. I'm absolutely adamant that things would have been different if the likes of Dave and Jon Favreau were working together in control of those movies. You wouldn't have seen the mishandling of Luke and the fucking deconstruction of some of the lore and mythology.
Free reunite as well.
Absolutely, Stephen. They understand what the fandom wants because they are fans. They grew up watching the movies. They get it.
Don't get me wrong, John. I do get that, you know, after 30 years, 3 people may not spend a lot of time with each other after 3 decades. I get that, but there's just something about missed opportunities, especially with aging actors. They're not going to be around. Well, it was proven. Carrie Fisher's sadly no longer with us. We cannot go back there and do it now.
We've got a likeness though.
Yeah, Harrison Ford will not want to do Star Wars again. He's done with, obviously,
he's definitely done
Indiana
with
Jones.
Indiana Jones now as well.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought his time in Star Wars would have came to a better end in Indiana? Not me, I tell you that right now. Steve, do you want to read that comment? Is Azure Season 2 available on Patreon? I've technically read it. Is it available on Patreon?
It was only available through our links through YouTube, which means they're not available on there yet.
We're thinking about
we've got to be very careful what we're doing in case anybody's watching. So we're thinking about it. We've got them in the can, but we've had to remove them, obviously. So they can't go on this platform. They cannot go on this platform whatsoever in any shape or form, because it'll just get us into bother again. I think, John, your theory's right about some people not liking what we were saying. So
because we got an interesting email, shall we say, and it kind of
confirmed it.
It confirms that somebody's been snitching. Snitchy's gone snitch, and they've been going to the copyright holders and telling on us. So
just because they didn't like.
I think they didn't. They took umbrage to reviews on the end of season 1, and they went off in a fucking huff and decided to also try and get the channel shut down, I'd imagine, which is pathetic, really, because love or hate something, it has to be natural. You have to give your honest and humble opinion on something. And look, one thing you're going to get from me and Stephen, time and time again, is honesty. We're not sycophants.
You saw that in our reaction.
Yeah, we're not fucking sycophants, Stephen. Like some channels out there may or may not be. And we're not going to play up to an audience because we're terrified. We're going to give an opinion on something. And if we don't like elements, we'll fucking say it. And that's just the way it's going to be forever.
I just find it a coincidence that I think it's probably our most... but in terms of reaction, John, it's probably our most negative reaction that we've done in any series.
Yeah.
Just for that moment, that decision.
Still rated at 7.8 out of 10.
That's the one that gets pulled. That's the one that gets us into trouble. It's too much of a coincidence, you know. But just getting back to Star Wars, John. Obviously, I can't wait. Rosario Dawson, It's just like the stars are aligning, isn't it, for Filoni and Rosario to do this project, John?
Yeah.
It's been over a decade in the making, you know, and we're finally getting there. I can't wait to see this show. This is the one I was looking forward to. I think I was looking forward to this more than Andor at one point. I don't know why.
It all got announced, didn't it? And then also it's been confirmed recently that Donald Glover is now penning the script for his
Lando,
his Calrissian sort of TV show with another individual. I'm looking forward to that because Donald's a remarkable fucking man. The character's
fantastic as well, John.
Just overall, singing, stand-up comedian, actor, performer, writer. he obviously worked closely on Atlanta, I think it was, with the writing team, and obviously is one of the main characters. So we're looking forward to that too. But Stephen, I'm looking forward to this show. Rosario was a great actor, always has been. Liked her since like a Death Proof. She was in Death Proof, I'm pretty sure she was.
Yeah.
Alongside
kicked ass. Yeah.
Ewan McGregor's current flame, I'm pretty sure. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed the actor, and we always were sort of championing her to be Ahsoka when there was talk of a potential live action, as a lot of the fandom did. And you just look at the trailer, and they go to the balance and the tie-ins with the animated stuff beautifully. It's like a culmination of all those years of storytelling, really rich, brilliant Star Wars stories, getting told some fucking shite in there as well. Let's not beat about the bush. Space whales and nonsense like that. Although I did like the way they tied that into Andor. We've seen a space whale. Yeah. And I think it was Andor. No, it wasn't. It was Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, I mean, Grogu looking at it. Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's a fucking space whale. Right away.
Space whale.
Yeah, it was fucking dreadful.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, dreadful. But in the main, it was very, very good. And it did do a brilliant job of sort of expanding a timeline which was condensed horribly in 3 movies, which realistically, it was almost a sideshow with. The 3 movies were about the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker, and how that knocked into obviously the original trilogy. The Clone Wars element was just tacked on.
Yeah.
And it was really just a 1.5 movie experience. Fuck, we were so excited to see Kashyyyk and the Revenge of the Sith. And I think it was Revenge of the Sith, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You went to the toilet, Steve, and fucking missed it. I seen it, but it was over in the blink of an eye.
John, it was always my issue with the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy connecting. It was... I don't know. I tried. I think it was the early 2000s when they were all released on DVD, and tried to watch them all at a marathon back to back, and it's just so jarring, you know. And I don't just mean about the visuals, because that was obviously going to be one of the glaring obvious things, was the visuals. The technology was more advanced in the past than it is in the present, but they kind of sorted all that kind of thing out, and I think these shows sort those little issues out, those plot holes, you know.
Just expand it out, Steve, and make it a richer story about the wars and all the sort of characters in it, the clone troopers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just the relationship that Anakin had with Obi-Wan and with also Ahsoka and all the other individual Jedi. It just makes it a more richer experience. That's what Dave gave us with those stories, and obviously it went into Rebels, and it continued to get better and better and better. And now this is almost like the culmination. This Ahsoka live action bleeding into a Thrawn coming back again live action, and it's almost culminating. I love the little separate universe they've created in this little pocket between the original trilogy and the sequel
it's
trilogy.
All within the Skywalker saga, though, isn't it?
It's all within that saga. It's almost a pocket universe that's connecting.
I always thought, John, after obviously Return of the Jedi, you know, they would have to work their way back the way with the prequels. They couldn't carry themselves forward in any way, because you're not going to top Vader, you're not going to top Emperor Palpatine, and they didn't. That's the thing, they didn't. Snoke never did it. No. And I think doing, as you said, it's like a sort of stick-on sort of timeline, in the same timeline as the original trilogy, or just after the original trilogy, where you're going to get a super-duper villain, let's be honest.
Yeah, yes.
You know, in this Mandalorian movie. And it's all leading up to that. It's going to be fantastic. And seeing a Star Wars film again in the cinema is going to be great, because it's been a long time.
Stephen, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
Disney, to be fair to them, I love to kick the boot into them as much as the next Star Wars fan for the handling of the sequel trilogy. But realistically, where do you go with Star Wars? Do you go 800 years in the past and then you know what's coming in the future?
Yeah,
and there's no real jeopardy, but there is, because it's separate characters in a different timeline. Or do you go in the future and risk the characters not being compelling?
You're kind of just circling around the existing storylines and just keep doing that till it gets further out, further out. That's what you do.
That's what you do, Steve. It's clear that there's still more of an interest in the Galactic Civil War and post and pre-era. Yeah. And that's where the interest is. So that's where you've still got to do the abundance of storytelling.
You touched on it as well, John, in terms of these web series as well. The aesthetics, I think they've nailed every time.
Yeah,
I think the worlds that they've gone to, especially in Andor, I thought just fantastic. Incredible. It was like 3 different stories you had. You had 3 episodes, then another 3, and then another. It was 9 episodes, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And it was like 3 trilogies.
Was it more than that? I don't know.
It might have been, John. It probably was, but it just felt like different stories, you know, different timelines, was, you know. And
in a way, it explored the different sides of rebellion. You've got these sort of autocracy. Is that autocracy? Is that right? The upper echelons anyway, with Mon Mothma and all of the sort of imperial spies and stuff. The guy, fucking famous British actor, he played the driver, didn't he? He was a spy.
Yeah.
Then also you had the Andor boots on the ground side. Then you had the sort of middleman with Luthen.
Yeah.
Or Luthen. I'm just glad I remember his name now. I could never remember it watching the actual show.
Yeah.
Just really, that was excellent. For me, that's the best storytelling Star Wars has ever produced, period.
Yeah, really
and I'm
good.
including the original trilogy in that. Just top tier.
Yeah,
Brilliant
it's
storytelling.
fantastic.
And that's what I want to see them doing moving forward. Exploring different demographics. But they are, Stephen, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, really. I think they should just continue with what they're doing just now and just gradually sort of navigate away from it.
Just before we move on, John, we'll talk about Hayden Christensen as well.
Yeah,
how are you feeling about this guy now? I mean, I didn't have an issue with him the first time round. I thought he did a good job considering what he had to work with. But this is his time now, isn't it? In Star Wars, he's really on board. That reception he got last year at Celebration, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was it this year? It was prior to the Obi-Wan series. When was that? It was this year.
It was this year.
This year? Oh, it's been a long year.
Not long
just that the love the fans have got for this guy, you know, and his legacy as Anakin Skywalker, because it was big shoes to fill. Let's be honest, you know. Anakin Skywalker was a legend before he was even on screen, just in references, and obviously anyone stepping into that role was going to get judged, weren't they? I never thought it was a miscast in any way. From George.
What they handled wrongly was the introduction of Anakin in the story.
Hayden should have been in episode 1.
He should have been episode 1, yeah. The decision to make him a young kid. And just thought, I mean, I loved the pod racing stuff when I was a little guy watching it. I was what? I'd have been 10 when it came out.
No, that's not a dig at Jake Lloyd in any way. I thought he did a good job.
He was okay, yeah.
But
I enjoyed the Phantom Menace, and it's strange, it's probably still my second favourite out of the 3 movies.
Yeah.
But Hayden realistically should have come in the first movie. Then you're giving them 3 movies to do something. The way they develop the character.
They did look,
You're trying to rush one of the most important fucking arcs in all of Star Wars and cinematic history in a sense, because Star Wars is...
I kind of guess, and I understand where George was coming from in terms of showing the innocence of the character at a young age. I get that, you know, and how he went from that to what he became. I get that.
You've seen that in the poster,
but I think, you know, the way the Luke Skywalker story looks so different in each film. His development is one of the best developments I've ever seen in any arc. From what you see in A New Hope right through to Return of the Jedi, just the growth in the character. I think Hayden could have done that.
Natural growth as well.
Yeah, I think he could have done that.
He could have, Stephen. Stephen, I think he's a great actor.
Yep.
I think he was done dirty. You can only really work with the script you've got, and if there's not enough time to...
A head sand.
Exactly. He still had some epic fucking moments. He did, let's be honest. The chase sequence, and not chase sequence, but the little speeder sequence in Coruscant, I laughed my head off at that at the time. I loved it. The fact he kept losing his lightsaber, it just showed you the sort of immaturity of the character, where he was at, and the dangers, the pitfalls that lay ahead for him. But obviously, the moment where he wipes out the Tusken Raiders, the Sand People, fucking epic. I love that line. They're animals, so I killed them like animals. And
There's
not
only
just
one
the men.
scene that I think that tops that for you, John, involving Anakin. And
It's the Trade Federation.
It's
Fuckers
the
getting them.
we only wanted peace. No, you didn't.
Exactly. You've created war, you bastards. I know you were a proxy for Palpatine, but Sheath knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and you wanted war.
You did want war. You were lusting on the war.
Kill them or something. I always remember that at the arena and Attack of the Clones. You were all wanting them dead.
Yeah. He started slashing them down. But
it was the closing the doors and the blinds.
Yeah, fucking love it. And Stephen, also the shot of him walking up with the clone troopers into the Jedi temple.
Yeah,
fucking
I love
epic.
That music from John Williams as well. You know.
So he's an iconic character, no matter what. And he had his moments. He had some great moments. Riding that sort of space fucking donkey thing, bulbous space donkey thing, wasn't one of the moments.
Big arse. It looked like a pear.
It did. Also, Stephen, the relationship between him and Obi-Wan was probably the best one.
It was better than him and Padme.
Absolutely, it was. No chemistry whatsoever. No. But the fight sequence at the end, was it over choreographed? Absolutely it was. But was it still great?
Yeah.
Absolutely it was.
Watching that on the big screen, John, was fucking epic. It was. It was really good.
It was very, very good.
For its time, you know.
And obviously, the deconstruction of this brotherhood. You were like a brother to me, Anakin.
John, that
I
scene's
loved
fantastic. It's still a good scene though. It's fantastic. I hate you. It's the rage in them, just that hatred. But that's all down to Hayden's
and you seen the acting that he was capable of in that moment when he was in the temple and he was torn between going down or staying there and listening to obviously Mace Windu. You seen the guy didn't even have to utter a word, and you seen the performance he gave, so he showed inklings
the conflict
of what he was capable of. And I'm glad to see, long story fucking short, that he is getting a chance to come back to Star Wars and semi-redeem it. I'd love to see him in Ahsoka. If it's as
Anakin.
As Anakin, absolutely.
Not as Vader.
I mean, he's not Vader at that point. He's ceased to be.
We don't have to see him
redeemed.
as Vader again, to be honest with you. I think we got enough. But it's enough, isn't it? Just that final sort of parting shot from Obi-Wan, goodbye, Darth.
I don't need your pity, Obi-Wan. I just fucking loved it. The modulation of the voice. And then him saying, then my friend is truly dead. So long, Darth. Great.
It was a fantastic scene. One of the best scenes I've seen in Star Wars in web series or film.
Just the imagery.
But that gets back to what we're talking about, John. It's filling those little blanks and connecting those little stories into between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. It's just fantastic.
See, when you think about it, Stephen, this is the last thing I'm going to say in this. You really see Anakin in the Vader suit. Realistically, you see him 3 times his face in the suit. The first time's when he's getting put in the suit and he's full of sorrow and grief for Padme and loss, but he's also got that burning hatred. The second time you see him is in Obi-Wan and he's further down in his journey, but it's just sheer hatred now. He's just fucking hating in Obi-Wan. The final time you see him,
kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. So that was total darkness.
It's just darkness. The final time is when he's lying down and Luke's looking on him.
Fantastic.
And the transition.
John. Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
Character Kevin Bacon. Amazing performance.
Think of that transition. That's fucking epic. It really is.
Tell your sister.
You were right.
It was a right emotional moment. It was fantastic.
I need to go back and watch the original trilogy
for
movies.
once, I just like to look at you with my own eyes. It's a sad story, John, but he did kill a lot of people.
He did.
Let's not forget that.
He was manipulated though, wasn't he, from a very young age? I mean, it's in the mythology that Sheaf actually manipulated the midichlorians to give birth. To impregnate.
Made Snoke.
He made fucking Anakin as well. He was his father.
I need your help, son.
From a young age, he was manipulating him. So he's a fucking tragic character. He really was a tragic.
Used and abused,
And we always maintain that the best villains are the ones that have got real, sort of fully fledged backstories, and Anakin certainly get that. That's a damn fucking.
We're going to move on anyway to our next topic and the final topic, John, and we're talking about Ben Affleck's cancelled Batman movie. Was called fucking awesome by Insider as new details emerge now.
Couldn't get fucking in, so I just put awesome.
Probably got a strike for that. John, the last time we saw it, I did. I saw Ben Affleck was playing Bruce Wayne in the Flash movie. You need to see it. It's fantastic, John. I did like it. I really liked it. I don't care what anyone says. It's a good film. Ezra Miller's a fantastic actor, and I don't care what anyone says. Listen,
he's fucking brilliant.
The guy can be a nut bar all he wants off screen. I'm watching this actor.
Nut bars.
I'm watching this actor, and it's fantastic.
We're all nut bars. There's not one human being alive that's not a nut bar. And if they tell you they're not a nut bar, they're fucking lying to you. We're all eccentric, crazy bastards.
Ben's limited time in the film, John, wasn't wasted either. It was really good in it. And you've got to remember, people are all talking about Michael Keaton's performance in it, which was fantastic. What we expect from Michael Keaton, but Affleck did a good job as well, considering the relationship at this point in his career with the studio as well had soured. That he was willing to come back to put a few wrongs right, if you like. Probably as well, I think, obviously the Bond with Ezra Miller as well, working on the Justice League films, and I think Ezra Miller was in Batman v Superman for a brief scene, wasn't it?
I think he was, I think he was.
It was when he threw the bat thing, wasn't it?
Bruce Wayne threw it, and he Aquaman with the trident.
Yeah, I think so. It's all blending into one now. Maybe I'm wrong, but my point is, John,
was that
Affleck he made an impression in the Flash movie for all the limited time he was on. It was pretty interesting stuff, and some words of wisdom to young Barry Allen as well, messing with time. But this,
he was, Stephen.
This he's talking about. Obviously, we covered this, I think, a few years ago when the good times with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck were sort of main attractions to DC, but not now. But
how dark is the fucking Snyder movies?
It's fantastic.
Stylistically, they're fucking epic, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
I love them.
Yeah, I mean, John, I wouldn't say I was a shill for him or anything like that, but
he's
I've got an
definitely
appreciation for his style, and I've liked it from before his DC stuff.
Was dickheads hating on Man of Steel because it was too dark? We not had enough fucking lycra, spandex wearing, sort of fluffy fucking goody two shoes Superman movies. Come on, we've been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Listen,
change it up.
Tonally, there's room for all. There's room for all. If you want to watch the more sort of lighter stuff, you can watch Christopher Reeve. I fucking love Christopher Reeve Superman films. My young daughter, 3-year-old, loves Superman. Loves Christopher Reeve Superman. Loves Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. She's actually shouting at the TV the other day, "Come on, Spider-Man! Come on!" So there you go. But anyway, it's fantastic.
She's fucking class.
She tried to climb the walls, which isn't. But anyway.
That's like train spotting. Talking back to Ian McGregor again.
Yeah. And a new interview with Inverse, Olivia, who did storyboards and consulting on various DCEU projects, shared what he was allowed to say about Affleck's Batman movie. While hoping to be able to spill the beans in the movie, Olivia stressed that Affleck was planning on building off of storylines in the Batman mythos over the last 80 years and approaching it from a new kind of perspective. To this day,
with Matt Reeves.
Olivia wishes the film could have happened, as he stated the following. That's a big quote, so bear with me.
Quote? It's 2 quotes.
So better take a drink. I can't really say too much other than it was fucking awesome. It was the best. It was amazing. From my understanding, there was a couple of drafts of it when I was brought on. I don't know whether it was the second draft or something, but it was what Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck had shown me. I've worked on a lot of Batman things, and what was really cool about it was tying together a lot of really cool Batman storylines that had never been really explored. Ben's story was going to cover something that had never really been covered in the comics, but was building off of storylines in the Batman mythos over the last 8 years and approaching it from a new kind of perspective. It was very clever, and there was a lot of things about it that I really loved that I wish that came to fruition. It was really a great project. In the beginning, Ben had to step away for personal reasons, and I totally understood. But the time that I spent with Ben working on the project was fantastic. Maybe someday I can spill the beans, but I still can't talk about it. Oh, under contract then. It's interesting because this guy obviously knows he's Batman.
He's got a Batcave.
Yeah, working on. I mean, this actual chap.
Yeah.
That's quoted here, John Oliver. And I think it's Jay Oliver. He's a DC storyboard artist. So he's obviously done a lot of work with DC. He's done a lot of work with obviously previous Batman stuff, and this was obviously before the reboot with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't have got it. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. Depends on what your experience was with obviously the Matt Reeves stuff. But
at one point, had 3 different Batman, yeah, iterations Batman floating around in different universes. Yeah. So
Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck. And obviously Robert Pattinson's.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on this though, John? Because we have covered obviously the whole Ben Affleck's story thing and all that, but coming from this chap, it's quite sad that they can't talk about it. They can't say what it's going to be.
It'll come out at some point.
But perhaps maybe the studio will keep it by for another time.
No, I just think they're arseholes, Stephen, really, Warner Brothers. I think they've got a real hatred for Snyder and for his vision for the characters, and ultimately they want to just hush it no matter what. They don't want to even have an inkling in case the fandom that follow, and they're very fervent, the fandom that follow Zack Snyder, maybe go on Twitter and demand that it gets made or something, I don't know, and all the baggage that comes with that. I understand it, but they are arseholes. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Warner Brothers.
But one thing we do know though is that
look at the way they claim videos.
Was Deathstroke was
Joe
going to be,
Manganiello. He was in the post credits, wasn't he, for Justice League?
Yeah.
And that's something we lost, Stephen. We like to slag Arrow off from time to time, Stephen Amell, Oliver Queen. But also that wasn't Joe Manganiello, it was another geezer.
Still a good character, yeah.
But the Deathstroke character was fucking epic.
Yeah.
Brilliant villain in that TV show. really visceral, hard-hitting character.
Yeah.
And to see him on steroids taking on Batman would have been a sight to behold. And Joe Manganiello's a big, sort of towering specimen of a guy.
Yeah.
Gentle, brilliant geezer, incidentally. I've watched videos of him getting a Dungeon and Dragons table, custom made.
He's passionate about D&D,
His
John.
room, he is
He's
passionate.
in Big Bang Theory.
I can imagine
himself playing it, yeah.
He's fucking epic, Steve. He's got a room dedicated
With William
to it.
Shatner
William
and
Shatner.
Kevin Smith.
The Shat. Fuck me, that. I'd love to be in that room.
And Stuart from the comic book store. Don't know how you get an invite, but yeah.
He's got one of the most fucking established Dungeon and Dragon. I can't say that tonight. Dungeon and Dragon. D&D. Sort of get-togethers in the whole of Hollywood. We're all playing D&D. That was a DVD. That's when you know you're playing it too much. It's time to step away. I think he's got David Beinoff, DB Weiss. There's quite a few. The Big Show, the wrestler.
Yeah.
He's got a fucking amazing sort of group of people that come
Kareem
around.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, he may be. Yeah. They've got loads. He's got loads of people coming around. But where was I going with that? Yeah, I mean, he's a big fucking towering, brilliant specimen of a guy. He would have been amazing as a villain in these movies.
Yep.
And to see him bouncing off of Ben Affleck would have been fantastic. Steve, going back to the script, it's not a surprise that he's waxing lyrical about it. Because at the time when it was announced, people were absolutely pissing themselves with excitement about this script. It was going around 3, 4, 5 years ago, whenever it was, that there was something special here, that Ben had delivered something truly inspiring. And then it was also announced that he was stepping away, and it was just complete bemusement and disappointment that we weren't going to get that movie that everyone was waxing lyrical about.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me reading these comments that this guy's saying it's fucking awesome, because that's something that was repeated again and again, and not just by one sycophantic lone voice. Multiple people close to the movie, close to the script, says it was absolutely unbelievable. Ben was passionate about the character. He's got a fucking bat, cave in his house, a room inspired by it. He clearly understands the character on a fundamental level. Here's that word again. I was using that a lot last night. So ultimately, it's just disappointing we never got it. Because I spoke about it last night, Stephen. Henry Cavill was wronged with this DCU. They pushed away that man's prime years as an actor.
It was ridiculous,
when he could have been delivering unbelievable performances as Superman. We've seen what he could do in Man of Steel. We've seen what he did in the sort of Batman v Superman stuff. Obviously, it got memed to fuck with the whole... What was it? Martha, was that his mother's name? And it was obviously Bruce's mother's name.
Yeah.
But then what he did in the sort of reanimation scene when he was wrecking shop... The best thing in Justice League, that Joss Whedon Justice League cut. So they pushed away his prime years as Superman, and they also pushed away the prime sort of chance for Ben Affleck to play Batman. It's an era of missed opportunities from Warner Brothers, and it's all down to fucking studio interference. And
another missed opportunity was obviously the Batgirl film as well, which they actually filmed and could afford to just bin it. Obviously, Michael Keaton playing a bigger role in that as well. You get Brendan Fraser. J.K. Simmons coming back as Commissioner Gordon. I mean, it's... I don't get them at times. I really don't understand. Yeah, I mean...
Across the board.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. But again...
And this is probably the most sort of jarring one, because we never really had a Superman story that was there. The blueprints were laid out and they could have shot it. With this, we had a script.
Yeah.
By all accounts, it's a fucking great script. Ben's a brilliant Batman. He was completely different to any other Batman that came before. A grizzled, sort of veteran, different kind of Batman. I love that line. What was it he says? I can't remember what came before, but do you bleed? And he said it to Superman.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you bleed? I think that's what it was. Just brilliant. I loved that.
Extended version. I don't know if you ever watched the extended version of Batman v Superman.
I've not seen the extended. I heard it was better. It was
really good, John. A different tone and different, obviously, pace. But I thought it was more interesting. I thought it was good.
You know that?
In terms of, obviously, Justice League, I know that I've said this before, and I know it's not a popular opinion. I wasn't really that bothered by the Justice League's, Snyder cut when it was released, to be honest with you. I think I was just beyond caring, to be honest with you. I think if it had come out the way it came out at the right time, not the Joss Whedon one, I would have appreciated it, but I think the Joss Whedon one just ruined everything that was going to come after it. Even if they did the new cut and it was back with Snyder, just something about it, I lost my enthusiasm for it, like most people for DC stuff at that point, Aquaman I watched casually. Wasn't really that bothered if I seen it or didn't. Wonder Woman 84, didn't like it. I thought the first film was okay, it was good, but they've never really reached those heights. DC, they've never really reached the heights of. I know Man of Steel probably is a bit Marmite with a lot of people, but the people that do like it put it in high regard as a really good Superman film.
All you want, really?
Yeah.
What more do you want from a movie?
And I don't think they ever reached those heights again.
Michael Shannon playing a villain.
Yeah.
Costner, who's Marmite for me, but he was great in that movie.
He was good, really good.
Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's fucking Superman. I mean, what do you want from a movie? Tell me.
Lawrence Fishburne, was he in that as well? Or was he in that one? Was he Perry White? I can't remember. Daily Planet guy. I'm pretty sure he was in it. I've not seen it such a long time, John, but...
And he was a fucking unit, wasn't he, Henry? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was to the point where I actually thought he was CGI'd when he was walking out the water.
Yeah.
Topless. I'm like, this guy's a fucking joke.
The harbour scene when he's got the beard.
Joke, absolute joke physique.
Well, this is the thing, John. I know we're going off on a tangent here, but we'll talk about Ben Affleck as well, because I thought he was a fucking really good older Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Playing that an older version of him, which we always wanted to see. We'd always seen Bruce Wayne at that sort of peak years of his 30s. Yeah. His late 20s, early 30s. This was an older, grizzled one that had already lived the life of Batman that we didn't see, that he had a past. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was an interesting take, and I thought Ben Affleck played that very well. In terms of Henry Cavill, in terms of obviously the character Clark Kent / Superman, it's a very particular role. It's not everyone can apply for that kind of role. You've got to be a Henry Cavill type.
You've got to be a unit. You've got to be a physical specimen. You've got to have acting chops. You've got to have a strong hairline.
Telling you, Michael B. Jordan.
I'm all for it, man. Yeah. I think there's still talks of a J.J. Abrams studio producing Bad Robot. I think it is producing an alternate Superman from, I forget the name of the earth, but it was inspired by Barack Obama, I think, when he became president. Yeah. And it was a black Superman. I fucking want to see it. Yeah. Because what it would do...
I just want to see it because Michael B.
I want to see it for Michael B. Jordan, but just what it would do against even like what Black Panther did before it, inspiring a generation of young black kids coming up to think, well, I can fucking... That could be me. Yep. What that does for a generation of kids.
I mean, we're seeing it in DC as well, John. We are seeing obviously Commissioner Gordon and the Matt Reeves one. Yeah. Jeffrey Wright. I think. Is that Jeffrey Wright? Is that his name? I'm terrible with names tonight. I don't know what it is. Is this cider or apple juice I'm drinking? I think it's is it Jeffrey Wright?
I know, Stephen, you're asking me. I'm probably not the best one because I'm terrible with names as well. Jeffrey Wright.
I don't know why. James Commissioner Gordon.
No, it's Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something there.
She was phenomenal in that, wasn't she?
Blue Beetle's coming out.
You talked about that last night, John.
Sort of South American superhero
promotion but I think Sin...
I've seen it on a fucking billboard. I'm like, my God, that's that film.
I think Sin hit the nail on the head last night. Obviously, with the strikes going on, it's probably had an impact on promotion.
What happened to the Steven Spielberg DC World War II pilot movie? Do you remember that?
Yeah, comic book thing. Yeah.
What's fucking happened to that?
Don't know. I think maybe he just did that musical last year, didn't he?
Yeah, West Side Story.
Didn't really go down well, did it?
It's a remake though.
Yeah, don't know what he's thinking. Come on,
Steve. A remake. You're never going to top the original.
But in terms of that, I don't know if we'll ever see the light of day, John. You're probably right, probably won't. It's just like Batgirl, we'll never see the light of day of anything coming from that.
Gambit with Channing Tatum.
Okay. Yeah, it's never going to happen, is it?
And then on the flip side, there was another one, wasn't there? There was fuck what they called again? X-Men spin-off.
That was an X-Men spin-off, was it not?
What was that?
The Gambit,
but there was another one.
Was there?
Yeah, it actually came out in the end. 4 kids. Macy Williams from Game of Thrones,
the Young Mutants.
The Young Mutants.
Yeah.
That was the New Mutants. It flew under the radar. Seemed to be in release purgatory. Then it came out. That was the
most anticipated film of 2017. It didn't come out first.
19. Yeah. And then it came out and it was shit. Fucking rubbish.
Again, John, it's momentum, and you're talking about that. And that's what I'm talking about with the Justice League. There's the Josh Whedon one. Yeah. Once that happens, the momentum's gone. It's very hard to pick up again. I don't really care what they do with Aquaman now. I don't care what they do with Wonder Woman. care. I just don't care.
Steve, you cannot take a visionary director like Zack Snyder, give him full creative control of a universe, blueprint out fucking multiple movies, potentially 3 Justice League movies.
Yep.
Have him leave and bring in someone else and just substitute him like that. That's not the way it works, man.
Obviously, there was a personal thing with Zack, to be fair, John, and I get the studio had to put a film out, but I just think they went about it all the wrong way, especially as you said, they've pre-planned this and they could have worked around it. They could have readjusted some things. They could have brought. I always think that the Justice League came out too soon anyway. You could have threw in more. You could have put Aquaman and Shazam in there before you even got to the Justice League, just to delay things until Zack was ready to.
They hadn't earned it, Stephen. We says it at the time.
They hadn't. No,
they did not earn that ensemble movie.
No,
you have to do your due diligence with characters. You have to do character building, world building like Marvel did. I mean, they waited. It was 2007-8. You're talking 2012, I think. Avengers came out. 5 fucking years of storytelling.
Yeah.
Introducing the characters, interconnecting, and then we get the ensemble movie.
Yeah.
Fucking Man of Steel came out
2013, yeah.
And they're bringing Justice League out 4 years later.
Yeah.
But
didn't even know a Batman film.
Exactly. Yeah. There's nowhere near the amount of fucking story building, character building. No.
I think the whole purpose of the Batman v Superman, I know it's based off comics and that, but I think it suited the studio, throw the two of them together in a movie, and that's one less movie we've got to do so we can get to the Justice League, and we're catching up with the MCU, which you're never going to do at that point, because they were years of planning on
Steve,
that.
I spoke to CINE about this last night. CINE made the point last night about introducing new characters. There's loads of characters in DC and Marvel that are not major characters. Fucking Mike. And I says at the time, DC have got this infatuation with their crown jewels.
Yeah.
Batman, Superman, the big name villains, the big name heroes, getting their movies out, but they just keep reciting the same shit. We've had multiple Batman characters. There's only been really 2, 3, I'd say 3 in the last 30 years. 4, 3.5. I'll give Ben some sort of. I mean, you didn't get a movie, you said it yourself, Stephen. You didn't get a proper movie. We screwed. Certainly Nolan's Christian Bale one. I don't know what I was about to say, Christopher Bale. Clown. Matt Reeves with Pattinson's looking promising, and obviously Michael Keaton.
Gareth Bale.
Be better with that fucking Gareth Bale. No, you wouldn't. Christian was fucking amazing. What am I talking about? They just keep fucking going to the same big sort of players, the big superhero characters, and there's so many interesting sub-level superhero characters that they could make movies about, villain stories they can make movies about.
They are trying, John. I mean,
seen it with Marvel, Stephen. Fucking Black Widow, Hawkeye. Who'd fucking heard of these characters?
Yeah, I think they did them. They handled them right, though, putting them in with bigger characters to introduce them and then fleshing them out.
Steve, I'm going to ask you a question here. Had you heard of Captain America and Iron Man prior to them coming out?
Yeah.
Were they, in your mind, as big as Hulk, Spider-Man?
No. I'd heard of them, John, but Hulk and Spider-Man were the main 2 for me. I knew about Iron Man. I knew about Thor as well.
I knew about Thor,
but just they were sort of background. They were the way we perceive the likes of Black Widow and Hawkeye when the Avengers came out. That's the way I perceived Iron Man.
They made those characters primary characters
at that stage when I was younger, you know. I think it's probably because I grew up with the Spider-Man TV series and obviously the Hulk TV series as well. Yeah. So that it's I suppose we've all got different experiences, but that's the way I saw it.
But for me, when I think of Marvel, I think of Spider-Man right away.
Yeah.
And I think of Hulk.
Yeah.
And off the top of my head, who else would I say I'd think about? It's got to be someone.
Probably.
Certainly think of the Winter Soldier.
The Fantastic Four was probably another one.
X-Men as well, Stephen. I mean, they were always under the Marvel umbrella. Like so Wolverine, Charles Xavier, Magneto. Those were characters that you immediately fucking
Doctor
Mystique.
Doom,
Doctor Doom. Those are the characters you immediately go to.
I see your man Cillian Murphy's been linked with the Doctor Doom character again.
Getting Cillian in a comic book movie would be something else.
Yeah, it'd be some pull, wouldn't it?
What a man.
But anyway.
Love him. Love him, man. Love listening to him talking. He's just got a brilliant. I think he's from Cork. Maybe. I need to search it up. I'm going to do that just now before we go. He needs to do
a Klaus Verman biopic. That's what he needs to do.
He really does, yeah. Oh, fuck, that'd be amazing. What a life.
Yeah.
What a life. What a guy. Is he from Cork? He's from Douglas. I'm talking shit.
Douglas. Same age as me.
He's from Cork. Views over Cork. It's pretty much Cork.
Yeah, same age as me.
He's the same age as you, yeah, Kelly. He's fucking looking good for his age, isn't he, Stephen?
Phenomenal.
To be fair, so are you, Stephen. You don't look your age
I
at all.
prefer to look like Killing.
Killian has got the combination of just chiseled fucking cheeks and jaw.
Yeah.
And just piercing. What you Stephen, to be fair, piercing blue eyes.
It's the hair.
The hair is unbelievable.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
But it's just his manner. Yeah. He's almost fucking state-like. You see him in a room full of huge personalities: Christopher Nolan, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt. He just sits there, studiously sitting quiet, and when he's got to say his bit, he takes over the whole fucking room.
Oh, you saw that in Dark Knight Rises when he's sitting in that big chair.
He's just amazing, man. I love the fucking guy.
He sends him out onto the ice.
Yeah. If you think I'm going out in that ice willingly, then you're... What is it he says?
Then you're got another thing coming.
Okay then, I sentence you to death by exile. Fuck out, you're going out, you prick. And Stephen, I don't know if you're aware, last thing I'll say on this, and this is a complete tangent, I spoke about this last night as well. Conbini, the name of the channel on YouTube, I highly recommend you go on and watch it. French video channel.
Okay.
Like shop. It's got all the fucking DVDs. And their interviewing technique is amazing. They get directors and actors in, and they go around their shop and they pick out their favourite movies. They break it down, the inspirations. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy were on it. Brad Pitt and David Leitch were on it for Bullet Train. Fucking brilliant concept. Really, really good. I love it when they do that.
Yeah.
They take the concept of an interview and they do something different and wacky with the format. Hot Ones.
Hot Ones, yeah.
Just
that pizza one as well.
Yeah, they're just taking the formality out of it.
Yeah.
What
the gentleman cast,
They just take the formality out of the interview. They put the person at ease, and you see, Steve, we were talking about the AI stuff, the bookend it all beautifully, hopefully. You're talking about bringing in AI husks, albeit it's background sort of supporting actors, extras if you'd like. But we mentioned the big name actors. You couldn't replace a Daniel Day-Lewis or a Leonardo DiCaprio, even a Brad Pitt, who's underrated for me. I think he's a fucking amazing actor, so knowledgeable. The performances they bring, that is sheer inspiration. And even Nick Cage, that's inspired through real love for the craft, for film history. And when you get these guys in a situation like that and you actually pick their brains, you see the knowledge coming out. Brad Pitt's knowledge in film, fucking sensational. Cillian Murphy, Nick Cage is like an encyclopedia. Quentin Tarantino, these guys understand the fundamentals of film, the history of film, what it takes to deliver a performance, the technical side of things. Wes Anderson done one as well. I went down a rabbit hole with that channel, can you tell?
Yeah.
His knowledge of film is fucking unbelievable, man. He knows everything, the songs, the composers, everything, man. You cannot replace that with AI, ever. You can't do it. You need the human touch. Only humans. Are we human?
And that brings it around to what we're talking about at the start.
Exactly. It all works beautifully, hopefully.
Yeah.
Conbini.
Yeah.
I recommend that channel. It's fantastic. It really is. Love it. I digress though. What was your thoughts on the three topics we touched upon? Should we be worried about Marvel's choice to scan extra supporting actors' likeness and potentially use them without their permission? Well, technically with their permission, but they'll pay them a minimum SAG-AFTRA wage for being an actor, but they're not really there. Is that the future of cinema? Should we be using AI to replace human performances, even on a background level? I think it's a fucking nonsense. It shouldn't happen. What's your thoughts now? Share it down below. What do you make about Anakin Skywalker potentially coming back in an Ahsoka TV show, potential Force Ghost cameo, maybe even popping up and being an important figure in The Mandalorian? Do you want to see Hayden Christensen making a triumphant return to Star Wars once again? Share your thoughts down below in the comment section about that as well. Finally, Ben Affleck's cancelled Batman movie. Somehow we ended up talking about Cillian fucking Murphy and AI and all that again. Don't know how we spawned that out of a fucking cancelled Batman movie. But share your thoughts about one of the key people in the background describing it as fucking awesome. Have we lost something truly splendid and tremendous that could have been special? Technically we've gained it with Matt Reeves as Batman though, so we've not really lost anything. Share your thoughts down below about that. Anything at all you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comments section. That's the place to put your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Do the same thing over on Twitch, follow button, notifications button over there. You see us doing the exact same fucking stuff on a different platform. All that's left to be said is, as ever, thank you once again for watching us. And until the next time, me and Stephen are done.